A very good morning to all my lovely students. How are you all? I hope you all are taking good care of yourself. I am Fatima Kulsawala from Atmiya Green School, Jadeshwar. Let's start our today's English class. Students, we have already completed Unit 4 and Unit 5, section number 2, that is quality. So today we would be starting with the section number 1, that is the women painters of Mithila. Before moving ahead with this chapter, I would just like to tell you something about this unit. Unit 5 is all about art and craft. The person who carries out the art is called artist. So we are going to learn about such artist in this unit. In the previous chapter, that is quality, we learned about the Jesler brothers who used to make shoes which were exceptional. So today we would be learning about the women painters of Mithila. So students, I request you to open your textbook, page number 107. Here the pictures below are of different kinds of craft. Pick the correct word from the box below and fill in the blank space. So students, here you can see the images of some craft being carried out. So we need to find out the name for each of them. The first one is origami. That is, the small figures are made out of paper. Then the second one is sculpting. That means carving of stones, making figures, statues out of stones. That is called sculpting. The third one is carpentry. That means making furniture out of wood. You all might know that. The next one is stained glass. That means painting is done on the glass. So that's why it is also called stained glass. The next one you all might be aware of. Your mother might be doing this thing, and this craft is known as sewing. And the last one is called calligraphy. That means writing work done in a beautiful way. So these all are different kinds of arts and crafts. So one such art we are going to learn in the next chapter, that is painting. So let's move on towards our today's chapter, the women painters of Mithila. So let's read about Mithila painting, which is traditionally done by the women of villages in the Mithila region of Bihar and Nepal. There was a terrible earthquake in 1934 in Mithila, a region of South Nepal. And Bihar, lying between the lower ranges of Himalaya and the Ganges river. So there is a region named Mithila, which is lying between the Nepal and Bihar, between the lower ranges of Himalayas and the Ganges river. It is known as Mithila. You all might be aware of this place because it is related to mythological character named Sita. That was the birthplace of Sita. So you all might be aware of this name. William Archer, the then local collector, went to inspect the damage in Mithila's villages and saw the wall and floor paintings for the first time. Now, as there was an earthquake, one of the local collector went over there to inspect, means to check the damage of the Mithila people. What was the damage caused over there? So he went over there to check the damage in Mithila's villages, and he saw the floor and wall paintings. The floor and the wall were painted with beautiful paintings. So he saw that for the first time. Later, he went back with his wife Mildred and photographed a number of them. First time he came alone when he went to inspect the village. Then later on he again went there along with his wife, and he took the pictures of many of the walls and floor paintings. They recognized their beauty and got them published in several magazines. So the photographs which he took over there, he published them in the magazines, and so slowly people got to recognize the great beauty of the paintings of Mithila. This got the attention of the artists and scholars. Obviously, when you put such beautiful and great things, people get the attention of it. And so the artists and scholars got to know about this place. In 1950s and early 1960s, several Indian scholars and artists visited the region and also became enamored by the paintings. So in 1934, the earthquake happened. After that, the local collector named William Archer went over there, saw the paintings for the first time. He took some photos and published it in the magazine. And this is how the Mithila paintings got the recognition. That means people got to know about the paintings. And then slowly, that is in 1950 and in early 1960s, that means around 1961 to 1965, several Indian scholars and artists visited the region. So people came over there, and especially the scholars and the artists. They went to this place and they also became enamored. That means they were charmed by the paintings. So students, I hope you are clear with the first 10 paragraph. Now let's move on to the next paragraph. In 1966, there was a drought in the same region. So students, do you know the meaning of drought? Drought means a prolonged period of abnormally low rainfall. That means the shortage of water which is occurring because of less rainfall for many years. So there was a drought in 1966 in the same region. The All India Handicraft Board sent an artist, Bhaskar Kulkarni, to Mithila to encourage the women to make paintings on the paper that they could sell in order to generate money for their families. So, All India Handicraft Board sent one artist. Her name was Bhaskar Kulkarni, and she went on to encourage the women of Mithila. Encourage, that means give hope. So, she went over there and encouraged the women to make the paintings on the paper, and they could sell them and earn money for their families. This created a new source of non-agricultural income. This is an non-agricultural income, means not related to agriculture. This is something you can say art, and they started to make money which is non-agricultural. The women artists were encouraged to produce paintings representing their tradition on handmade paper. So the women artists started producing paintings, that means started making paintings and represented their tradition, that means their culture. They started representing their tradition on the handmade paper. The paper was also made with hands. Since then, painting has become a primary source of income for scores of family. And after that, after the drought, when the artist Bhaskar Kulkarni came, she encouraged the women to make paintings, and these paintings were sold worldwide. It started selling worldwide. People were enchanted by the beauty of these paintings, and it became a primary source. That means the foremost source of income main source of income was the paintings for scores of families. That means many families. This also helped the Mithila style of painting gain recognition in India. And because of this, this Mithila style of painting, that means the style which was used by the people of Mithila, gained recognition. Recognition means it got identification in India. People started knowing about those paintings. Let's move on to the third paragraph. Maithili paintings known across the globe for their vibrant lines and striking colors were once upon a time written by the tribal women of northern Bihar. The women engaged in this activity chiefly as a preparation for religious ceremonies and important festivities. That means the paintings which are known as Maithili paintings. That means paintings prepared by women of Mithila. These paintings were known across the world for their vibrant lines. That means full of energy and bright colors which brings hope, and striking colors were once upon a time written by tribal women of northern Bihar. So, these paintings were considered to be prepared by the tribal women of northern Bihar. And the women engaged in this activity, that means the women who used to prepare these paintings or write it down on the paper, they were considered to be doing this activity for religious ceremonies. That means it was done basically during the festival time and during carrying out the religious ceremonies. Now let's see the fourth paragraph. Also known as Madhubani paintings, these derive their name from the place of their origin, Madhuban, which means forest of honey. So Maithili paintings are also known as Madhubani paintings, and they derive this name, means they got this name because of the place of their origin. That means the place they were made first. So that's why it is called the place of origin, and that is Madhuban. Madhuban means forest of honey. This is Mithila's largest district and one of the main centers of this art form. Madhuban is considered to be Mithila's largest district, and it is also one of the main center. That means this activity of painting or making specific kind of paintings, these paintings were specifically made in this region, and so it is considered to be one of the main centers of this art form. This region is relatively isolated and consequently a fertile ground for artistic activity and spiritual pursuit. That means that this region is isolated. It is considered to be in remote areas which is far away from the city and big buildings, and due to that only it is considered to be fertile ground for artistic activity. That means the people over there are more involved in these paintings and not other things which are normally carried out in the city life, and they prepare the paintings which follow the spiritual path. So it is considered to be fertile ground. Normally the meaning of fertile means the place or the field where crops grow very well. In the same way, Madhuban is considered to be fertile ground because the people over here are very much involved into the artistic activities. This region is believed to be the birthplace of Sita and the land where Vedic learning has flourished. As I told you in the beginning of this chapter, that Mithila is considered to be the birthplace of Sita, wife of Lord Rama, and it is also considered the land where Vedic learning flourished. That means it was prospered. The Vedic learning prospered and it grew. Vedic learning is the education which was given in earlier time. Hence, the birth of Mithila paintings in such an enriched environment is not a surprise. So Mithila painting itself talks about the history and the traditions which were followed over there. And so if these paintings are beautiful, then it's not a big surprise, because the history is also very nice over there, because it is considered to be the birthplace of Sita and also the place where knowledge flourished. Let's see the next paragraph. This art form, with little change in the basic style, has been treasured and handed down through generations. So this art form means this form of painting. There is a little change in their basic style, means the way they make or they paint this painting, not much has changed in their style, and it has been treasured. That means something which we keep it properly because it is very precious to us. So it has been treasured and handed down through generations. That means this art form is taught to everyone over there, and it is being treasured. That means the people over there know the value of this art. This form of painting began as a domestic preoccupation. That means the people or the women over there started this painting as a domestic preoccupation. That means if there is some religious ceremony going on, or if there are festivals, the one of the preparation is making this painting. That's why it is also considered as domestic preoccupation, whereby women decorated their huts with abstract motifs. Motifs means image and patterns. So women over there used to decorate their huts with these paintings. Yet each tribe has its unique style and symbols that originated from its distinctive culture. So each tribe, that means the different types had different style. Unique means only one of their kind, and the symbols that originated from its distinctive culture, because in that region each tribe follow different culture, and so it is considered that each tribe had unique style of presenting their culture. Let's see the next paragraph. These wall paintings were written in 3 areas of the hut. That means these paintings were done in the 3 areas of the hut. The first is the place of worship. That means the place where they normally worship their gods and goddesses. Here the icons of the household deities are placed. So here they they prepare the images of the household deities, that is their gods and goddesses. The second is the inner room, the heart of the hut. That means the center of the hut. This room has freshly plastered walls on which pictures of gods and goddesses are painted. The heart of the hut is plastered freshly and it is painted with the images of gods and goddesses. And the third is the outer walls of the hut. So there are 3 parts. The first is the place of worship, where they normally place their household deities. The second is the heart of the hut, where they normally paint gods and goddesses. And the third is the outer wall, that means the courtyard, where the guests are received. These 2 are beautified with paintings. That means the outer side of the hut is also beautified with the paintings. Traditionally, women in groups began this as a social activity. They first plaster the wall with cow dung and then skillfully draw outlines with a twig of bamboo whose ends are frayed. So traditionally the women in groups, they started this painting as a social activity, means to carry out in their free time. They first plaster the wall with cow dung. First, they plaster all the walls with cow dung and then skillfully draw the outline. Skillfully means cleverly, because they are very well known with this art. They draw the outlines with a twig of bamboo. That means a small branch of bamboo whose ends are frayed. That means the branch of bamboo whose ends are worn out or unraveled. They then fill in the colors. So after drawing the outline, they start filling in the colors. And for brushes, means at that time there were no brushes which you use right now, students, but for brushes they used cloth strips that were wound around the twigs and dipped in the colors. So the cloth strips means the छोटे छोटे कपड़ों के टुकड़ों को वो twigs के ऊपर बांध देते थे. That means the branch of the bamboo, it was covered or it was wrapped with the cloth strips and it was then dipped in the color. Young girls first assist the elders till they absorb their ancestral tradition. That means the young girls or the small girls, they first assist, means they help their elders until they absorb this ancestral tradition. Ancestral means the tradition which they got from their ancestor or forefathers. So till the time that they know all the types of tradition, till then they assist or they help their elders. And once they are done or once they absorb this tradition, they make the paintings by themselves. At times, these paintings are handed down on bits of paper as a family heirlooms and referred to at the time of painting. So, some of these paintings were handed down as a family heirloom. That means a valuable object, just like the gold ornaments or the wills of a property. In the same way, people over here hand over this paintings in the bits of paper. That means in the form of a blueprint. They used to hand it over to their children as a valuable object, and their children referred to it at the time of painting. So students, I hope that you understood the chapter till here. We will continue the remaining portion in the next video.